That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Yes, God, Yes, the directorial debut of Karen Maine, which premiered at the 2019 South by Southwest Film Festival, where it picked up a special jury prize for Best Ensemble. It will be available in virtual cinemas and drive-ins July 24th, 2020, courtesy of Vertical Entertainment, and on digital and VOD July 28th.
The person who directed this?
Yes.
It's their debut, you said?
Her debut. She is the co-writer of Obvious Child with Jenny Slate, directed by Gillian Robespierre. Yes.
Okay. This film is about a high school sophomore named Claire.
Alice.
Fuck.
Go ask Alice.
Alice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Alice goes...
Played by Natalia Dyer from Stranger Things, Velvet Buzzsaw.
Okay. Alice is a sophomore at a Catholic high school.
In the Midwest. That's all.
In the Midwest. It's set in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
We find her being bullied by some of the students because there's a rumor going around that she tossed some boy's salad.
Wade.
Which is ironic because she seems very puritanical and innocent. Naive. She's very much into her religion. Mm-hmm. Cut to her at home on an AOL chat room, or in an AOL chat room, talking about movies when someone IMs her and wants to be sexual. Mm-hmm. This person sends her some graphic images.
Of him with his wife.
But clearly they're like stock softcore porn images. Mm-hmm. She's kind of turned on. She gets caught, or thinks she's about to get caught by her mother, so she, abruptly gets off, goes back to school. While she's at school, she hears some students talking about a weekend retreat called Kirkos, which is like a school-sponsored thing, kind of mysterious. They say they're not supposed to talk about it unless you've actually been. Mm-hmm. So she enrolls, she arrives, and it's basically a 4-day retreat that reinforces like all of the morality they're learning in their Catholic school.
More of the same brainwashing, yes.
It's run by the same priest who runs the school.
Father Murphy, played by Timothy Simons.
Okay. So she gets there, she meets her... There's like a house leader and like a group leader. The group leader is a boy named Chris, played
by Wolfgang Novogratz.
He's a tall, handsome man. He looks too old to be in high school. Mm-hmm. He also has very hairy arms, which she becomes fixated with. This experience, the 4-day camp, not a lot happens. She witnesses... So a few very basic things happen. She witnesses the priest viewing porn. Mm-hmm. She sees one of the group leaders performing oral sex on another boy. Mm-hmm. She escapes for like a couple of hours one night to go to like a nearby lesbian bar and has like a nice little conversation with the owner, who basically tells her like, you need to get out of this like small town you're in.
Yeah.
She also, the boy whose salad she's accused of tossing, Wade, she plants some evidence. So at one point she's in the priest's office, because she still doesn't know what tossing salad means. Mm-hmm. So she's in a chat room on the priest's computer, chatting with someone when he walks in, or he's about to catch her. So she abruptly leaves the information on the computer. So obviously the priest finds out someone's been on his computer looking up nasty things. Mm-hmm. She plants evidence there that would make it seem like Wade did it. Mm-hmm. So towards the end of the retreat, Wade ends up admitting to doing it. So the combination of her witnessing sort of the lies, the
hypocrisy
of all of it, she kind of has an awakening. But it's not the kind of awakening you would want or expect. Mm-hmm. It's basically when she returns back to school, she has her weekly confessional with the same priest, and she tells him her transgression, which was that she watched porn. Mm-hmm. And the way she describes it's very clear to the priest that she saw him watching porn. Mm-hmm. And he basically says, that's between you and God, let's pray or whatever, do our Hail Marys, the end. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. All right. So, should I just go through my notes?
Yeah.
Okay. Watching the trailer, I really thought this was going to be a raunchy, like dark coming of age comedy.
Well, I had very high expectations because I am a fan of Obvious Child, but I think, Jenny Slate really owns that movie, and it's a really poignant film about abortion and relationships, and I was kind of expecting that same energy to be there, but this felt very slipshod and cliched and familiar. It felt like this should have been a coming out story. And I think you made a comment as we're watching this. It feels like a film that was made in the year it's set.
Oh, 100%. This feels like one of those movies I would have found in the gay section of Blockbuster Video in 2000.
Except it's not gay.
But it's not gay. It has that vibe. What I was going to say, it's not raunchy at all. Probably the raunchiest thing is the repeated, sort of tossed salad reference and how she doesn't know what it is. Until the lesbian bar owner tells her, like, oh, that's when you put your tongue on someone's butthole. Mm-hmm. So it's so anticlimactic. Like,
it is. To get an R rating seems like...
Oh, I'll get to that. My next note is the music. So there's some pretty cool songs. I mean, the first big song we hear is the rendition of Christina Aguilera's Genie in the Bottle. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm assuming quite a bit of money was spent on the music.
Considering how the film looks, based on the soundtrack that they got, yeah, it's
y'all could have saved
a
that
juxtaposition. And it ends with a Mandy Moore song, which I think is kind of funny because this film reminds me of Saved, which featured Mandy Moore.
And Saved is much more, I think it's smarter, more scathing.
It is, yeah.
Getting back to the raunchiness, another repeated thing is she discovers sort of like masturbating by using her cell phone as a vibrator, but it's very mild. It's just like she sets it to like where it'll ring and vibrate, and she kind of pushes it to her crotch a couple of times. Very mild. After we finished, I thought, who is this movie for? Because it's very nostalgic. So someone like your age, it's right, like it's right, perfectly set.
Oh yeah,
but it's not like someone like your age would not find this movie. I mean, you tell it. Like, how do you feel?
It's kind of like, because Lady Bird is set in the same time period, but seems to be doing something a little more elevated than just being nostalgic for this period. But yeah, I mean, the AOL chat room experience, like that was something I was doing as a teenager.
But didn't you feel like that could have been so much more?
It felt like the envelope should have been pushed a lot further. Yeah. And maybe it takes a queer narrative to push that envelope further because that. I was doing the exact same thing as this character is, seeing ASL and kind of having a flood of memories about what that meant.
Sex location for all you young people.
It's very much in that certain time and period where everyone was catfishing. I don't know.
I agree. This film could have done so much more with the chat room component, and it did.
And cyber sex, like even like,
should
we cyber? It's like... Yeah. And all the words you had to type it was.
This film was rated R. I don't know why. I watched this movie without getting up, so I don't know if I blinked and missed a titty. I don't know what I missed. I don't recall any use of the F word. There's no nudity. The pornography we see is like clothes on. Mm-hmm. I don't even think we see breasts.
Well, it's like the documentary. This film is not yet rated. The MPAA system is very conservative, and anything having to do with sexuality, especially involving minors, I'm assuming is just
But getting back to who this movie's for, I just think like, based on the trailer, I expected this to be a raunch fest. Mm-hmm. So I'm a little confused if the audience would be like people like between like 30 and 40.
Yeah.
Then why is this movie so mild?
Right.
This could have been a PG movie, and nothing would I don't know what they would have needed to omit to get a PG rating. Very confused. The retreat is 4 days, and I swore they were there for weeks because that shit was just like, maybe because it just felt boring and dry.
At only 77 minutes, it feels a lot longer than it is.
I have a note that says that lame-ass speech, but now I don't recall which speech I was talking about.
It's at the end when they're supposed to get up and talk about what they learned, and Wade, who's played by Parker Wierling, who had a very small part in Greyhound, which we just saw, gets up and admits to looking at porn that he didn't look at, and then she is motivated to get up there, and there's a weird it's must have been shot later because her hair suddenly.
That's right.
is
Her hair and
different.
makeup look different.
Yeah, it's kind of jarring.
Let me tell you something. If like I was a kid in high school bullied, and if I would have gone through this sort of like realization and had the courage to get up and speak, oh, you better believe I would have called everybody out. I would have been like, I saw you watching porn. You were sucking dick in the corner. She doesn't do any of that.
She's such there's no kind of elevation with her character whatsoever. There's no cathartic moment either that she's actually. You see that she's come to learn that all of this is a bunch of bullshit, but it never pops off as like, oh, she's gonna own herself.
She's gonna own her, yeah,
and make decisions that are meaningful to her and forget about all this.
My only note about something I found amusing in the film was there is another running sort of idea that she is like sexually aroused by the film The Titanic. And at one point she like, I mean, I say masturbate, but it's like she puts the cell phone to her crotch like a few times while watching Titanic. That made me chuckle a little bit. That was the only thing that I found amusing.
You know, it's funny. There are two Parker Posey movies within a year of each other where that was a shtick. That was a thing in there where she used the old vibrating with like Nokia phone to masturbate, like Owen, Ohio and Faye Grimm, which I think is funny because phones don't really do that anymore. But
I have another note that says they should have used the music budget to hire some comedy writers to, punch this shit up a little bit. And my last note is, this movie felt like when I go to the grocery store and I see ice cream in the clearance section and I just grab it because it's like 75% off and I get it home and realize it's that goddamn Halo Top protein healthy ice cream and I'm so disappointed. That's how I felt about this movie.
It's just considering even the poster is designed. If you put up the poster for this film and Obvious Child, same colors, same kind of scheme going on. So we're trying to push that. It was produced. It was executive produced, I believe, by Rodrigo Teixeira, very notable Brazilian producer who's done a lot of English language stuff too, production wise. Just all the elements are there that suggest. Even like Hollywood Reporter and Variety both had this on their top 10 lists at that particular film festival, and I think it's
maybe there are only 11 films.
No, I think it's because it does tap into. It's great to see like combating hypocrisy and how kind of, to me, like bullshitty religion is. So there, I think people are attracted to that, but this was so I don't know, for lack of a better word, just flat and dull. It reminded me a little bit of whatever she's going through at Kirkos, which is creepy and culty.
That could have been something else that I was fully expecting there to be some dark shit.
The commentary needs to be stronger. But I thought of Boy Erased about the gay conversion therapy. It felt like the exact same thing. It's just these children being brainwashed. But
but not serious or heartfelt.
No, there's never a moment where I'm like, oh, this is poignant. Right. Except I didn't mind the presence, and it's probably because she's an accomplished character actress, Susan Blackwell as the lesbian bar owner. I did like that scene. I didn't believe the setup of it, that she'd show up and order a pop.
A wine cooler.
Like, is that what she got? Mm-hmm. And be served. Like, none of that really, that didn't gel, but I liked that actress's presence, and I thought that worked. I don't know. We
could be done. What would you give this film?
1.5 out of 5, I think is fair.
I would give it 1.5 out of 5. Anything else?
No.
All right, bye.
Bye.